One of these two players is going to the World Cup with England. It's not the one who scored 15. Morgan Gibbs-White scored 15 Premier League goals this season. He was the joint top English scorer in the league. Jordan Henderson scored 1. And the manager just decided the 1 mattered more than the 15. On the Thursday evening before the squad was announced, Harry Maguire knew. He posted a statement on Instagram a day before the official list went public. His wife wrote that there was nothing he could have done to prove his worth. His mother said she was absolutely disgusted. His brother called it the worst decision he'd ever seen. Maguire had played at 3 previous major tournaments, 66 caps, a semi-final at the 2018 World Cup, a Euros final in 2020. He was the captain of Manchester United's recovery, and on a Thursday evening in May, his manager called him on the phone, and the conversation was short enough that Maguire was on social media that night. Now, in fairness to Tuchel, Maguire had played twice for England under him, a draw with Uruguay, a defeat to Japan, visibly behind every other centre-back option for the entire 8 months Tuchel had been in charge. The family's pain is real. The football case is shakier than the reaction suggested, but the image was set. Family fury, an England legend cut by phone. The squad that hadn't even been announced yet was already being called the most ruthless in a generation. Roy Keane reached for the same word he'd used about Henderson 5 years ago.
I've heard now people say, well, they want him around the place. For what? What does he do? Card tricks? Does he have a sing-song? Does quizzes in the evenings?
On the final day of the Premier League season, 3 days after the announcement, Morgan Gibbs-White scored a free kick for Nottingham Forest. He held up 10 fingers to the crowd, the number on the back of every shirt he'd been left out of. Forest fans spent the rest of the afternoon singing derogatory chants at Thomas Tuchel. Gibbs-White, after the game, spoke about it directly.
It's so difficult because you try and put yourself in the best possible situation to go, and I believe I did. But I think the game's all about opinions. I mean, you guys on the show, it's all opinions.
Sky Sports chief football correspondent had a line ready.
And I think this is probably the most shocking England tournament squad since, when was it? 98.
The reference there is to Glenn Hoddle's World Cup squad, the one that dropped Paul Gascoigne. 28 years later, England has a manager again willing to leave the obvious choices at home. The question is whether he's right. Let's do the numbers. 3 patterns. Pattern 1. Morgan Gibbs-White had 18 goals and 7 assists this season for Nottingham Forest. He was the joint top English scorer in the Premier League with Ollie Watkins. Tuchel said publicly he didn't want to take, quote, 5 number 10s to a tournament. I think we need clarity around every position, Tuchel said. I think it will be very unlikely that we bring 3, 4, 5 players from one position into camp or into the World Cup. I think this will just confuse everyone. 3 of his 4 chosen number 10s are Morgan Rogers of Aston Villa, Eberechi Eze of Arsenal, and Jude Bellingham of Real Madrid, all in the squad. Per Sport Bible, Gibbs-White had twice as many goals and assists in 2026 as any of his 3 rival number 10s. The 3 rivals went to the World Cup. He didn't. Tuchel's defense is that Rodgers, Eze and Bellingham fit his system better. That may be true, but the system he's describing is not a form-based system, it's a fit-based one. Pattern 2. Adam Wharton is 22 years old. He plays for Crystal Palace. He just helped them reach the Conference League final. His own manager, Oliver Glasner, said this about him in April. Tuchel didn't. He said this: with his one-touch passes and line-breaking passes, I think he's one of the best. Not just in England, but in the world. If you want this kind of quality, you pick Adam. He picked Jordan Henderson, 35 years old, of Brentford. Henderson is, by every measure, a decent footballer having a normal late career season. 31 Premier League appearances, 21 starts, 1,863 minutes. Captain at most camps, 89 England caps. A man who will become the second England player ever to be named in 4 4 World Cup squads after Bobby Charlton, and Adam Wharton, in his second full Premier League season, played 2,545 minutes. He had the same number of league goals, 1, more assists, 5. He played 15 Conference League games on top of that, reaching the final. He has 4 England caps, more minutes, more assists, the same goals, European football on top, and a manager publicly calling him one of the best in the world. He's 13 years younger, worth roughly 15 times more in the transfer market, and he's the player Tuchel left at home. Tuchel's defence. Henderson brings experience. He brings trust. He's been in 7 major tournaments. All true, none of it is form. Pattern 3 is the hardest one. Phil Foden. On the data, Foden's case is real. 816 successful passes this season versus 752 the year before. 21 chances created versus 19. 5 league assists versus 3. 607 in expected threat. His club numbers recovered from the dip he had in 2024 to 25. But Tuchel had seen him in camp 3 different times, and after the friendly against Japan in March, when Foden played as a false 9 and was substituted after 58 minutes, this is what Tuchel said. This is the genuine version of the form versus name conflict. Foden's data says one thing. Tuchel's eye, after watching him 3 times in camp, says another. The data is real. The eye test is real. The video can't pretend Foden was at peak form when he himself admitted his season suffered from off-field issues and an ankle injury. But it's also worth saying, the data is what selectors use. The Premier League Player of the Year 2 seasons ago, the Manchester City attacking midfielder having a better statistical season than the year before, sitting at home, 3 patterns, 3 different forms of the same swap. The player with the harder evidence stayed home. The player Tuchel trusted got the seat. Tuchel has a defence. It's coherent. It's worth taking seriously. Jamie Carragher laid it out on Sky Sports the day the German media branded the snubs, quote, madness.
And when I looked at the camp, it just felt to me he picked harmony and energy over talent, really. And I think I then heard his press conference later on, yesterday afternoon, and I think he sort of reiterated that basically, that it wasn't about the 26 most talented English players. It was about, putting something together in terms of a squad and a team once we get.
That's a real argument. Tournament football isn't about the best 26. It's about the best 26 who can spend 6 weeks together without falling apart. Tuchel himself has been saying this since November. He used the word brotherhood. He told the players in private and in public that he wanted a club feel. He warned that withdrawals from camps would be remembered. And he's right that there are players whose omission is defensible on form, not just on trust.
We have to pick the squad that we as a staff are convinced and then that we love and that we really believe, because you were players on the highest level. You feel the love of your coach, you feel the trust. And if there are doubts, you just don't play on the same level. So in the end, it comes down to that. Whom do we really trust?
Cole Palmer's season genuinely collapsed. 979 successful passes the year before, 526 this year. 11 assists down to 2. Injury disrupted, off form. Tuchel's call there is harder to attack. Harry Maguire only played twice under Tuchel before May, a draw with Uruguay and a defeat to Japan. He was visibly 5th or 6th choice at centre-back long before the squad was announced. The family reaction was louder than the football case. And Ivan Toney, the Saudi Pro League striker everyone wanted to mock, scored 32 goals in 32 games this season. He has 55 Saudi goals over 2 seasons. Cristiano Ronaldo in the same league has 53. Tuchel's instinct that he's a real 3rd choice striker is, on the numbers, fair. So the defence is real. Some of these calls are good calls. The squad isn't a hit piece on 12 players. It's a coherent philosophy applied across 26. But coherence isn't correctness, and the philosophy has a problem. Here's the problem with the philosophy. England spent 8 years under Gareth Southgate watching him pick the same players past their form. Sterling at the 2022 World Cup. Maguire after Manchester United had dropped him. Henderson at 33 in Saudi Arabia, 2 years before the man who was selected this week. Pundits spent 8 years calling that loyalty. They said it was sentimental. They said it cost England tournaments. They wanted a manager who would have the spine to cut a name when the form went. Tuchel doesn't do that. Tuchel is not sentimental. Tuchel is the German they hired to be the opposite of Southgate, to be ruthless, to pick on merit. Except he didn't pick on merit. He picked on fit. Henderson fits the tournament camp leadership role he wants. Burn fits the left-footed centre-back profile. Quansah fits the build-up, tall defender pattern. Spence fits the right-back who runs fast, brief. Tony fits the penalty-taking third striker slot. All defensible on their own. The problem is what they share. None of them are the player having the best season at their position. They're all the player Tuchel knows best at their position. That's the inverse Southgate mistake. Southgate kept names past their form because he loved the player. Tuchel keeps tactical archetypes regardless of form because he trusts the type. Both versions punish the player having the actual best season. Different reason, same result. The kid scoring 15 Premier League goals stays home either way. Think about what that means for a player. Outscore every English midfielder in the league and you can still be told your form doesn't matter because someone else fits the system better. Tuchel may be right that you can't take 5 number 10s. He may be right that Henderson runs a camp the way younger players can't yet. He may be right that Tony's penalties matter more than Calvert-Lewin's heading. These are tactical judgments and they're his to make. Sky's Solskjaer called it the most shocking England squad since 1998. The 1998 reference is to a manager who dropped his most talented player at the last possible moment. England went out of that World Cup in the second round. Whether Tuchel's decisions cost England this one, we find out in June. But the message English football just sent its players is the same one Southgate sent. He just sent it in reverse. If you're not on the manager's list of names already, your league season doesn't matter. Drop your verdict in the comments. Was Tuchel right to pick trust over form, or did he just make the inverse Southgate mistake? And a real question, if England go out in the group stage, who's the first name people will be asking about? Foden, Gibbs-White or Wharton?